All right, we're going to go in a little bit more detail into some properties of minerals. We just did the basic definition, but now we're going to go into a little bit more detail into what the different properties of minerals are and how we can apply them to identifying minerals. So the first thing that we're going to do is add to, or actually make a little bit more of an elaborate compare and contrast between minerals and rocks. Okay, a mineral is a solid natural material or solid natural materials. There are over 4,500 different kinds, and we can identify minerals based on physical properties. Cannot do that to rocks because there are so many there could be different kinds of minerals in with the rocks. So the ones that we're going to talk about today include streak, luster, hardness, cleavage or fracture, basically how they break, and color. Now, a rock is a mixture of minerals, and there are 3 types. As we talked about in the past, we have igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary. So we're going to have quite a bit of notes during this video. So I have the blank copies. If you do not have it, go ahead and glue them in as we go. And we'll post final copies at the end. So that's our compare and contrast. Now the next thing that I want to do is we're going to do, so pause, finish copying that down. And then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, one way to unique way to identify minerals is to evaluate how the mineral crystals break. When it breaks into pieces, how does it do it? There are 2 different ways. We have cleavage. A rock can have both, or one or the other. And we have fracture. Since this fracture down here. So sometimes minerals break with sides that are smooth and straight. Minerals that break this way have cleavage, such as this calcite sample. Now, minerals that do not break along straight lines have fracture, such as this quartz sample. It has fracture. Actually, down here, we're not going to put fracture. Fracture should be up here. And this right here is streak. All right. You can also rub a mineral against a white tile called a streak plate. The color the mineral leaves behind is what we call the mineral streak. I'll move the camera down one moment. Now, here's one important thing. So, if you're writing, stop and listen. Different mineral can have different colors, but they always end up with the same streak. So, if you have something that is hard, their hardness is to where it could be on a streak plate, and it is different colors, but it has the same streak color, it is possible that they are very similar minerals. So you can't always go on just color alone. So this is streak, not fracture. So pyrite, which is a gold color mineral, pyrite is actually called fool's gold. It looks like gold, but it leaves a black streak behind. So you pause, finish those, and then we're going to move on to luster. Now, another property to tell minerals apart from one another is luster. Luster describes how a mineral reflects light. I'll try to zoom just a little bit. This is magnetic. It's very shiny. It can have a metallic luster, like metal. Pumice is earthy. It looks like a typical rock that you would see. Or we can also have something that is glassy. And in between these two, we can have a waxy luster. It looks like it's made out of wax. Okay. Then we're also going to put this. This is going to be other properties. I'm just going to write to the side, other properties. Over to the side, just other properties. Scientists can also use the color of minerals to help identify them. This is not the most helpful way to identify them because one mineral can be different colors, just like quartz. That's why we look at other ways to identify them, like streak color. Fluorite can be clear, white, yellow, blue, purple, or green. So that's not very helpful. Also, some minerals can have some really unique properties. Sulfur has a strong, rotten smell, kind of like rotten eggs. If you've ever been on the side of the road when they're running like sprinklers and it smells like strong, rotten eggs, that could be sulfur water. Graphite has a greasy feeling to it. And calcite will fizz when you drop it in vinegar or drop a piece of or drip vinegar on it. And quartz can conduct electricity. So these are all special properties, other properties that we could use to identify. So at this time, pause, take these notes, and move on to the next. All right, we're going to talk about hardness next. And I already started writing this down for some reason, but hardness is one way to evaluate a mineral, period. Hardness is the mineral's strength, how soft it is, but it's also the mineral's ability to scratch another. another mineral or be scratched by a material. In 1812, scientist Friedrich Mohs developed a scale to compare the hardness of different minerals, and we still use a Mohs scale even today. So, a mineral with a higher number can scratch a mineral with a lower number. Okay, so this is the hardest, so to speak, and this is the softest. Okay, so here are the different names of the minerals. We have talc, like talc powder, baby powder. We have gypsum, calcite, fluorite, five apatite. That's a new one. I haven't heard that one before. This one is orthodoxy. Orthodoxy. Quartz. Topaz. Corundum, and diamond. Diamond is the hardest mineral. Can only be scratched by another diamond. Okay. All right, finish these notes and we're going to move on to the last one, which is on the Mohs scale. The softest minerals are 1. The hardest mineral, diamond, is a 10 on the scale. A diamond cannot be scratched by any other mineral besides another diamond. That's why they're so good in jewelry. They stand up so well. So scientists can also test with other objects. So a mineral between 2 and 2.5 or 2.5 hardness could be scratched by a fingernail. You can just do that. And obviously, if you just touch it with a regular finger, it's less than that. And it's going to be less than 2. If you can scratch it with copper, it has a 3 hardness. If you can scratch it with a nail, like not a fingernail, but like an actual nail, it has a 4. If you can scratch it with glass, it has a 5.5. If you can scratch it with a knife, so glass is in between this, 5 to 6.5-ish. And then a streak plate, you can only find streak on minerals that have a hardness of 6.5 to 7. So not all minerals can do the streak plate. They might crumble, they're too soft, or they might not be soft enough to streak. So that's the perfect. All right, use the scales above to match each mineral description with a correct hardness rating. Pyrite can be scratched by a knife or a streak plate. So that would be 5 to 7. Graphite can be scratched by all objects. So that's pretty much a 1 to a 2. Cuprite cannot be scratched by a penny. And cannot be scratched by apatite. So copper penny is 3, so it's got to be between 3 and 5. Gold can scratch gypsum and calcite, but not apatite. There we go. So these are our notes on properties of minerals. And that's all of our notes.